Welcome. This podcast is a collaboration of Religica and URI, United Religions Initiative.
Wambui Ngige is an attorney based in Nairobi, Kenya. Her experience in research and advocacy on youth and women's rights enables her to bring women and young people together as a way of fighting extremism and uniting Kenyans. Wambui strives to help URI engage and sustain healthy, interconnected communities. Take a listen.
When you hear the phrase accelerating peace, what does it make you think of? Or
I feel like today the world, whether here in America or in Kenya or wherever you are, there is a lot of need for peace. There is a lot of things that are happening that should not be happening. So when I heard that the theme of this year will be accelerating peace, I loved it because I feel like sometimes hate is traveling faster than peace and love. So this is really important. And when all of us do something, then the speed will be higher. And so we are moving. So the first thing that comes in my mind is how we need to make sure that we make peace move as faster as any other, vice, hoping that now that it's positive, it counters the vices, so that we don't have to really suffer before we get peace. We just have peace maybe before, so that in case there are any conflict, there are many other ways of resolving them without necessarily robbing other people peace or violence. So accelerating peace is really important, and I would probably call upon everyone to make sure that wherever they are, they don't slow the pace of peace, but make themselves ambassadors of peace and instruments of peace, so that we move regardless of, where you're coming from, whether your skin color, your race, your gender, everything. As long as the communities don't have peace, we do not have justice, we don't have a community to start with. So peace is a very important pillar in our communities, and when we have peace, everything else will fall in place. So we have to accelerate peace.
What are 3 values that are important to your life?
The first one is kindness, basically because when you're kind, you will try to put yourself in another person's shoes before you. The second one is courage, because I feel like cowardice has really brought a lot of issues in this world, and so courage is another important value to me. And the other one will be accepting or accommodating differences, or trying to be less judgmental. I feel like, and of course peace is also very important, because without peace then it becomes a problem, and also justice. So I'll probably have gone beyond 3, but those 5 are the pillars of my life.
How do these show up in the work that you do?
I work as a peace builder, and part of it is I trying to bring communities and religious groups together in the name of trying to get peace and reconciliation. And the other one is I work with women and girls. So being kind means that I am able to treat the other person regardless of their beliefs and all that as I would want to be treated. Courage means that sometimes you have to fight the system, patriarchy, and think people that are on your way. So that is another one. Justice comes in, because without justice then there is no peace, and without peace there is no world. And trying to be less judgmental and letting people be means that I am allowed to have my own values and appreciate that the world is not synonymous, so people have different way of doing things, and that is what actually brings beauty to the world. The more we are different, the more the world is beautiful.
Do you think that peace is impossible without justice, or justice is impossible without peace?
There has to be peace, there has to be justice. Because looking at it theoretically, then if you do not give me justice, I will not be at peace and I will not be happy. And out of that frustration, then I'll have to probably pursue, other violent ways of doing things. But it is doable. People make it look like peace, hope, peace, justice can be together. But I know for sure, peace and justice can be together.
Why do you think it's been so difficult to achieve peace?
It's just simple. People are selfish. You feel like what you know is what you know, and the world should agree. I believe that selfishness is why people want to say that their religion is better than the other. you want to feel the entitlement of you being the best person that really understands religion. Because one of the reasons why we have issues of religion in incited wars is because one particular group of, even it might not necessarily mean a whole religion, just a few people will just take a book, a holy book or whatever it is, a scripture, and interpret it, making the other people look like they don't know what they're doing. People really know, like you said, that we need this, but they feel like they deserve better than the rest of the people. And one of the things that I have learned is the resources, the peace, the love is enough for all of us. And that is why we have so many other issues that are, trigger violence, corruption, because someone is just greedy. They want to have it all. Nepotism, you feel like your family members are the only intelligent people, for instance, and with all kindness. So if we stop being selfish, of course, it's not an easy thing. I am not clean of selfishness, but every time things happen, I check myself. I'm like, is this really, because there's a very thin line between being focused and trying to advocate for what you believe in and selfishness. Mm-hmm. So you have to really try and get what that line is. If religious groups today agreed without selfishness that all of us need peace, I assure you that there would never be in this world violence. But those leaders on top, the Pope, the pastors and other people, I am not saying like the Pope as an individual or anything, want to hold on to power and want to feel like without them the world is, they hold hostage the world. So if we all stop to be selfish and if we all agreed, and the other thing is, we are not twins, and even twins have their own different identities. I do not have to, like, for instance, like you, but I do not have a right to make you feel bad about who you are. It's being real about these issues. Sometimes I don't want to smile at you, but I should not sneer at you either. So sometimes, like I said, silence and letting things flow is really, really important. So the question we should all be asking ourselves as human beings, or is the world a better place because you're here? If the world was to sit on a table with you and it ask you, what have you done to me? What will the answer be? Have you ruined the environment? Have you propagated hate? It's a cocktail of so many things. But also the other thing the world need to ask themselves is, in 100 years from today, what will you be remembered for, and what are you leaving the generation that is there? It could be an easy question. Maybe someone will say, I am trying to make sure that the future generation does not have to have people of different religion, different sexual orientation. I'm trying to return, those things. The question is, are you sure that whatever you say is the best or is the sacred truth? So I feel like if we asked ourselves, are we making the world a better place? What have you offered the world? And do we really care about the people to come? If you answer those questions positively, probably then we'll be getting places.
Is there any story that you have of a moment of peace building that you have that's really has been powerful for you from your own experience?
I try to be an instrument of peace. It's not easy. I don't do it always. Or rather, I don't succeed always, but sometimes I try. But the most important one is what changed my perception about religion is one day I went to campus and lived in a hostel, and I lived with these two girls, and one of the girls one day went to class and I got home earlier, and she left some brochure and books of a certain religion. And I have been brought up in a Christian, Muslim, dominant community. So any other religion is a cult to me. So when I got home and saw those things, I was so scared, thinking that maybe this girl is a cult member. And when my other roommate got in, I told her the same, and we were both shocked. That religion turned out to be the Baha'i. When my roommate came, And after, of course, many prayers and, getting worried, we finally, 2-3 days later, got the courage to ask her what that was. And she explained to us that this is a Baha'i faith, this is what they do in this. And I was so ashamed of myself that the first thing that came to mind was a cult, just because it was an indifferent religion. Have the logic of, having the discussion with people around me, whether at work or in the village where I come from, and tell them that, look, this is fine, we are suffering as a country, but terrorism has nothing to do with that religion, for instance. And us fighting hate with hate does not take us anywhere, because if I die today because I wanted to go and kill a Muslim, it doesn't really make sense. Because I have seen the Muslim community in Nairobi try to even, tell us that this is not what the Quran says. But sometimes we don't want to listen because we want to justify our own prejudices. So I try to have conversations of, fine, it might be someone that subscribed to a different religion, but that is not the stand of that religion. And because I have read, like I said, the Golden Rule, and I know what Islam, I might not really understand the whole Quran, but I know peace is their way out, and terrorism is not advocated for. Because they kill children, just like the mass shooters in America. Sometimes they don't even have an opportunity to ask you whether you're a Christian or so. Unless you all join hands and fight a vice, if we keep dividing ourselves along lines that are baseless, then we continue to give these people that are grouped a chance to destroy us. But if we join hands, then we will be able to work together. So in terms of also, like I said, even in court system, and even when I meet people in public, I try to remind myself that I am an instrument of peace. When someone says something that I feel has an issue or rather triggers animosity, sometimes my courage will say something, but sometimes my courage will be, my safety is not guaranteed. I will walk away, but deep down, my conscience reminds me that we fight to get another day.
If you would like to know more about United Religion's initiative, read stories of interfaith in action, visit www.uri.org. And to learn more about Religica and our allies, take a look at www.religica.org. Thanks.